In the ever-turning tide of global change, one truth grows increasingly clear. The world stands at the edge of uncertainty. Smaller nations that once leaned on the stability and security provided by global powers are now beginning to worry. The world order that once felt solid is starting to crack, slowly but surely. And in the midst of this shift, a haunting question arises. If not America, then who will keep the world in balance? For decades, the United States served as the anchor of international order. In the aftermath of World War II, America emerged as the protector of the free world, the bulwark against communism, and the primary driver of economic globalization. In Southeast Asia, this role was especially palpable. From the end of the Vietnam War to the collapse of the Soviet Union, countries like Singapore and even Indonesia, whose growth depended on exports and a stable regional environment, found reassurance in America's presence as a counterbalance amid global ideological and economic rivalries. But those golden years now seem to be fading. America is facing storms within: job dislocations due to automation, growing dissatisfaction with globalization, deepening political divisions, and the lingering trauma of prolonged wars in Afghanistan and Iraq that ended without clear victories. U.S. priorities are turning inward, and the world is beginning to feel the void. The rivalry between two giants, America and China, is heating up. Ironically, neither seems ready to bear the responsibility of global leadership. One is too weary, the other not yet trusted. In this power vacuum, the world order becomes fluid, directionless. Smaller nations like Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia are forced to face a bitter truth. Old alliances may no longer hold in the future. This uncertainty is not just theoretical. We have seen its consequences. The U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, for example, was a powerful signal that Washington's commitment to foreign security is no longer what it used to be. Overnight, the Taliban regained control of Kabul, casting a shadow of fear across Central Asia. In another corner of the world, America's failure to prevent Russia's invasion of Ukraine highlights the limits of its influence. Behind the sanctions and condemnations, little remains but the faded silhouette of past power. In global peace efforts, America is no longer the undisputed referee. In the Middle East, the Abraham Accords, normalizing relations between Israel and several Arab nations, emerged more from strategic interests than a genuine long-term vision for peace. In Palestine, America's lopsided support only adds fuel to ongoing tensions. Likewise, in East Asia, efforts to reduce conflict on the Korean Peninsula have faltered, partly due to America's ambiguous stance toward China and North Korea. Today, the world is caught in a new trilemma between preserving economic openness, ensuring national security, and navigating geopolitical competition. Not all can be achieved at once. Smaller nations must begin making tough choices, whether to continue relying on the old system or forge a new, more independent path. This is the true challenge. When a single superpower no longer guarantees order, solidarity among smaller nations becomes more important than ever. We can no longer depend on one power alone to keep the world stable. This is the moment for Southeast Asian countries and others to assert diplomatic independence, build regional cooperation, and harness their collective economic strength. We need diplomacy that is flexible yet courageous. We must recognize that strong alliances can become fragile overnight. We need to prepare ourselves for a world without a single global protector, a world where great powers are increasingly consumed by their own internal crises, and instability can arise from unpreparedness. Indonesia, for instance, as the largest country in the region, cannot afford to be a mere spectator. With strategic geography and abundant resources, Indonesia has the potential to lead regional initiatives, not just as a follower, but as a mediator. We need a more dynamic foreign policy, rooted in long-term national interests rather than drifting with shifting global tides. We must learn from history that global order doesn't just happen. It is built with vision, courage, and cooperation. If the old powers are growing weary, it is time for others to step up. Not to replace them, but to restore balance. In this age of uncertainty, one thing is certain. If we do not chart our own course, we will continue to drift with the currents of others. A new world is taking shape. The only question is, are we ready to help shape it, or will we remain victims of a change we do not understand?